Bayonetta 3, what took you so long? Bayonetta is a series that has undergone some of the most drama of any game series. One day it's a 3D hack and slash, the next it's a boycotted exclusive. Because despite the third entry releasing so soon, we're still scratching our heads over this game's development. And so, today, we will be using the series' history to determine where Bayonetta 3 has been all this time. Bayonetta is a series that first began in 2009. You'd be surprised to find out that Bayonetta 1, the original, only launched on Xbox and PlayStation. Ironic, I know. To no one's surprise though, the game was a success in every sense of the word. So much so that Nintendo wanted to make the franchise a Switch and Wii U exclusive. I know, that's right? To everyone's surprise, Nintendo, the family company, picked up an M-rated game about a violent yet seductive witch. Doesn't really match up with those friendly Wii U commercials now, does it? Despite that though, Nintendo released Bayonetta 2 as a Wii U exclusive all the way back in 2014. While the game was originally being financed by Sega, unforeseen circumstances caused the project to stall. That's when the folks at Nintendo stepped in with one massive offer. We will fund your game, but you can only release it on the Wii U. A console that has already had its foot halfway in the grave before even launching. Regardless, the Bayonetta team still decided to go with Nintendo. Now, what other choice did they have? In the words of series producer Atsushi Inaba, Bayonetta 2 would not exist without Nintendo, meaning if Nintendo never funded this game, we never would have gotten a Bayonetta 3, nor would we have gotten a Bayonetta in Smash 4. Maybe that would have been for the better. Before the second game even released, fans were already anticipating a third entry. The team even confirmed their beliefs, saying that if 2 sells, there's gonna be a 3. Thankfully for fans, and Platinum Games' bottom line, Bayonetta 2 sold phenomenally, especially for how poor the Wii U was. And so Platinum Games delivered. 3 short years later, Bayonetta fans got more than great news at the 2017 Game Awards. Not only were the first 2 Bayo games being ported to Switch, we were also getting Bayonetta 3. When will that come out, might you ask? At the time, we didn't know. All we got was a short teaser trailer and a logo. But we sure could speculate. The second Bayonetta game took roughly 5 years to release after the first. However, considering all of the legal funding complications that went on between production, we could surely see a Bayonetta 3 in the near future, right? Sadly, that wasn't the case. It's hard to believe, but E3 2017 was 5 whole years ago. Man, I'm getting old. I got all these gray hairs now too. Oh wait, no I don't. Anyway, we did get some information in between. To start, Reggie himself commented on how thrilled he was to have a new Bayonetta game coming to the Switch. But other than that, the air was kinda dead. No big Bayonetta news for a while. Sure, there was some minor stuff. Inaba came out and said that Bayo 3 would be a turning point for the studio in 2018. Then Koizumi reassured us that Astral Chain wasn't disrupting Bayo 3's development in 2019. And later, the game's development was described as an unorthodox development process later that year. Whatever that means. The last bit of info we got was actually very reassuring. At E3 2019, we were reassured that the game's development was going smoothly. Now, where have I heard that before? Okay, maybe it's not that reassuring. Now, it wasn't until September 2021 that the words Bayonetta 3 were ever uttered again. This time, it was during a September Direct, and wait, the game actually got a full reveal trailer. Yes, this is great. A planned release in 2022, actual gameplay, new designs, characters, all of it. Everything's going great, right? Not exactly. It's possible that some behind-the-scenes drama caused this game to be delayed for so long, but we'll get more on that later. After that September Direct, we wouldn't get any Bayonetta 3 news until July of 2022, just a couple of months ago. Finally, we got this second trailer and an actual release date for the game. The game is finally coming out, and the development process seemed to have gone rather smoothly. Or maybe that's just what they want you to think. If you look deeply into it, you'll realize that 4 years passed in between the first tease and the first gameplay reveal for Bayonetta 3. That begs the question, Bayonetta 3, what took you so long? Now, there's a couple of reasons why Bayo 3 might have taken so long to release, many of which are only coming out now. To start, there's actually something we forgot to mention about that first gameplay trailer back in 2021. As it turns out, that trailer revealed that Yusuke Miyata would get to be the director for this game. Why is this a problem? Well, that's because of a hidden detail that the fans noticed in the trailer. Apparently, there's a mechanic where Bayonetta's infernal demons could be individually controlled. Now here's the thing, this mechanic is very similar to a cancelled project from the same team called Scalebound. The kicker? Yusuke Miyata was one of Scalebound's lead designers. Fans also noticed that Bayonetta 3's villains looked remarkably similar to the protagonist of this cancelled project. This means that Bayonetta 3 might have some mechanics and character designs carried over from Scalebound. Now, why is this a problem, you may be asking? Well, remember that unorthodox development process we mentioned earlier? What if that was referring to a change in direction for Bayonetta 3? A change in direction that includes merging content from Scalebound over to Bayonetta 3, as we've seen with Metroid Prime 4. A change in direction can cause a game to delay almost indefinitely. Also something to note, Scalebound's cancellation was announced in 2017, the same year we got the teaser for Bayo 3. It's entirely possible that following Scalebound's cancellation, Platinum Games wanted to salvage as much as they could from that project and revive it in the latest entry of their most successful franchise. You get me? Alright, so this idea was supported by Inaba himself, who stated that he would like to return to Scalebound if given the opportunity all the way back in fall of 2020. Even though Microsoft owns the intellectual property, that would stop him from salvaging gameplay features or creating a similar character to the protagonist. But surely that can't be it. Surely we're missing something. One key factor that explains the long development cycle. Well, there is one recent controversy that could hold the answer to all of our questions. If you didn't already know, Bayonetta has been in some deep trouble on the internet. Bayonetta's original voice actress Helena Taylor is boycotting the third entry on Twitter. You saw it on Reddit, right? Also, you follow Game Domain on Reddit, right? It's reddit.com/r/Game Domain. Follow us, alright? Why is Helena Taylor boycotting the third entry on Twitter, you might ask? Well, that's because she was offered a measly $4,000 for her role as the main character. Or so she claims. Keep in mind, this isn't some indie game. This is coming from a massive studio that's big enough to be in Smash. Here's the thing with that. The voice actress's claims weren't entirely truthful. More information from Bloomberg and Video Game Chronicles came out explaining that Helena was actually offered $4,000 per session, which would total $20,000 after an expected 5 sessions. So keep in mind, this drama is constantly evolving. Stay tuned, we'll have more, of course. More and more information is coming out to prove that Helena wasn't nearly as underpaid as she claims, but let's play devil's advocate for a second, okay? Let's dive deep into the idea that Helena actually was underpaid and speculate what that could have meant for the game's development. After Helena requested a higher price, Platinum Studios, the developers for Bayonetta 3, straight up dropped her. If you ask me, this only introduces even more head scratchers. Why was their main character budget so low? And were they just trying to be cheap, or was it necessary? Is it possible that their budget took a massive hit, and that's why they couldn't afford the same voice actress? Maybe they worked on the game for 2 years, then they had to scrap it like what happened with Metroid Prime 4. Restarting development would have been both expensive and time-consuming, which would explain the low budget and long development time. We might never know for sure. It's possible that Platinum Studios just wanted to be cheap, or that they were looking for a reason to replace Bayonetta's voice actress anyway. Whatever the reasoning is, this low price has been causing an uproar in drama across the internet. New voice actors have been coming out left and right sharing their horror stories in the industry. That includes everyone from video game voice actors to anime and so on. The one thing that stays consistent is that all these actors have had problems being charged less than they deserve. While we don't know what this drama could have meant for Bayonetta 3's development cycle, we do know what it means for the future of the franchise. Bayonetta's voice actress has been leading a massive boycott for the game. Could this boycott actually mark the end of the series? It all depends on how much of an impact the boycott has on these sales numbers. Now, if Bayo 3 doesn't sell well, it's entirely possible that we will never see a Bayonetta 4 in our lifetime. In an ideal world, both situations will work out. Bayonetta will continue being a prosperous franchise, but the boycott will inspire change in the voice acting community. At least, that's what I'm hoping for. And once again, I have to bring up the fact that this is mostly speculation and most likely wasn't a major cause for the long development cycle. But what do you think? Are you buying or boycotting? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. This has been Danny from Game Domain, and I'll see you in another video soon. Oh yeah, and one more thing. Happy Halloween!